So there are, some of the clips have been mixed up a little bit. You'll see some things that say light G, and some things. So,
I skipped that in kindergarten?
I was denied finger painting in kindergarten. That's what went wrong with me. So now I'm finally getting that kindergarten experience that I was denied.
You only can use 2 colors or 3 colors, you said?
He said 2 or 3.
But
go.
Put it up and look and see what you did. And fold them up so other people can see what you did. Wow, cool. Open them all the way up. You can just fold them in half. Great.
I didn't like mine.
You like it?
Yeah. I would like.
There's no right or wrong in this. This is a learning experience.
Yes. This is a learning experience.
But we're gonna move on, so don't take too much. Fold it real quick and just apply the dye.
Ooh.
So can I
Yep.
show yours and show and tell? How did she fold this one?
Just like how you showed it.
And how did she fold hers? Look at each other's and learn. Open yours up. It's not open all the way. Beautiful color there. Wow, that's beautiful too. Mary? So what did these people do?
Well, different fan, they used, they made a fan shape and then used.
I'm just giving you guys ideas. You're going to learn from each other, and I'm going to show you how to make my flags in just a minute. But right now, I want you to learn how to make your own. What worked and what didn't. Highlight buddy, and Drew will be walking around with me and encouraging you to add more dye. So right now, does everybody have a spot of yellow on their flags?
No. Yes.
So does anybody not have?
Lots of yellow.
What's happening? What color are you getting? Orange. Okay, if you're in a light G, you're getting an orange. If you've got dark B, you've got a pretty red. Selvage, right. If you take the self edge, you've got the selvage. When you want to cut silk, you need to cut the selvage. And tear. Why do we tear the silk? Why don't we just cut it? It's a straight line. It's a straight line if you rip it, yes, but when you cut it, it frays, right? So if you want to use fabric tack or to finish your edges with the sewing machine, you're welcome to. But there are other ways to do this. Now, I'm going to actually, I think, can we start here? And go ahead and take off your gloves. And I would want you each to just come up and make sure that there's one person here. And I want you to rip your own silk because this is something that you all need to do. So see the grab on either side of it. One there and one there. Kind of pull it in the middle. And rip. Just like that. Just like that. That's yours. So here's the scissors. Does anybody have any questions at this point? Just the corner. Grab it. Grab it. There you go. Just like that.
One is you can do the airplane fold that Xavier was talking about. And just keep doing that all the way across. Or if you want two sunbursts, you just grab it in the middle, or anywhere actually, wherever you want to start. And then you just twist. And as it comes in, you're going to get all the folds that
There
are
we
going
go.
to create
This came from that
these
fold.
lines. Right.
So this came from this fold. There's two flags identical. Okay, it's a basic sunburst. So, which side of the fabric did I use? Did I use this side or that side?
I mean, as far as where the radiator from?
Right.
The folded
The
side.
folded side, exactly. Actually, you can kind of see it because I did this earlier. So there's a couple different ways that you can do this. Now, if I do it here, I'm going to have a radiator pattern that comes out. If I do it here, it's going to come out. If I do it here, it's going to come out. Right? So you've seen those shirts go around. Depending on how you dye it, this is the tie that gives you that. Okay? So you start in the middle, and sometimes I use, is there a pen, that yellow pen? You can use a pin or a wood handle and start turning. Now, do you see what happens? I've got a bunching that happens. Now, I can guide this, or I can just do it like that. Now, I'll show you what I mean by do it like that. And then I'll show you what I mean by guide it. So, it's not tight. You don't want it tight. How wide are my stripes? Can you see how wide my stripes are? Do you see how wide my stripes are? Okay? That's one way. Now, we have layers here. We have inside, we have one side, and we have another side. We have one side, we have inside, we have the other side. We have inside, we have the other side. So if I were to say this is red, for example, and this is purple, I have red, inside, purple, inside, red, inside, purple, inside, red. Do you see? Maximum 3 colors, primary colors with this. I did how many here? 2. Okay? If you're doing this type of fold, you want to do the opposites. You have one side, green, middle, pink, other side, violet, for example. This is one way. I really encourage you to go with the other way, but this is a very basic thing, and I can't show you tie-dye without doing this, and without doing one other one. So this next tie-dye is one Dino learned, he got his first set of silk flags in Canada years ago, like 10 years ago, 9 years ago, in Miami. And this was the tie-dye that was used on her. And there's another version that's like this where you use salt to kind of leach the colors. It kind of gives you the same effect. So if you've ever heard of that. But it's basically bunching up. It's not hard. The hardest thing is tying it. Grab a friend. Okay? So now you have, I'm just going to stop this, one side, the other side. Side A, side B, in the middle. Side A, side B, in the middle. We had some really beautiful flags that come out just a few minutes ago using this fold. It's not one that I've ever used before. I read about it in the book, decided to show you guys. It's very basic. Okay? What else do I want to say at this point? So last thing about guiding the twirl. I do that hand. So pull it like that. Yeah. Stop. Now I can twirl. I can decide the width of how wide each of those is going to be by picking it. Remember the first time? It was really wide, and this time it's more controlled. I could get tighter than that if I wanted to. Okay? Right? And of course you keep unfolding this around. So this is just one basic, simple step. These come out flawless. I really encourage you to go with your own type of fold, something similar to what you just did, and trust it.
Grab it and twist it
So
around.
you'll have black spots, and if I use black and red, you'll have black spots and red spots, and then in between I'll separate. So you might use black, red, red.
It's okay.
I actually like to blend out genetic and my hands and knees.
So you can either make really big panels between the colors by having it wide, or you can do really thin.
Chord is this one in shapes, so that one, May I add one more thing? Just like when you did your folding, you use these clips, you can use the clips to die too. For example, if I want to take this fold, and do a clip, I now have an up and a down and a middle. Does that make sense? You could do the clip this way, for example. Let me show you that again. So you have an up, a back, and a middle. You also have side to side. You could tie these and make something. You could tie it anywhere. All right.
If you want to do the swirl at this point, I wouldn't be able to do the swirl like this. Because all this stuff in here is not to be getting it. So you have all these different things. Each panel. Circles of edges. Of course, stretch it like this. Hands around it, dye that. And then you get
Why'd you do that for? Why'd you do that for? She's using everybody's clip.
Why wait?
Why wait? That's it.
There's mine.
She's starting.
yellow?
Did you put enough colors yet? Oh. Oh, it's just great makeup. Waterproof.
Did it come off?
I don't. I do.
So I cut the excess string off as well or
If
not?
you'd like.
Okay, thank you.
Now, I'm going to tell you guys this. When you feel that you're done tie on, call Drew or I over. Got that? When you think that you're done tie. So this, and actually call me before you start applying the dye too, if you,
Fun with dye.
inside. Do the inside first. How do you apply the inside? If this were my dye, I'm sticking in here, I'm squirting, I'm moving it, I move it to the next one, I stick it in, I squirt it, and I move it. And I go again and again. I put it in, I go outside a little bit, I go outside a little bit more. Put it in, I squirt, I go in, like that, okay? So your dye on the inside is, you need it to put more dye than you think you need on there. Mind you, if it's dripping on the floor, you have enough. But you want it to get in there and penetrate that middle section. And I'm gonna come up to you before you're done, and I'm gonna look in there, so you can too. And if there's not enough in there, I'm gonna tell you to put more. So you're safe here, because I'm gonna come back and follow up. But now, there's different ways that you can dye this. You can do this all one side, all one color. And you know the tie-dye shirts where it goes, you know, from red to blue, blah, blah, blah. You look at this like a little pie. And you do this section blue, and the next section green, and the next section yellow, and the next section. That gives you that bump, 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 bump type with your starburst that comes out. So you know, if you do this red, you'll have like a section that's red, and a section that's blue, and a section that's this, okay? Now, again, I suggest you only pick 3 colors max, but you're welcome to do that, and we'll add more color later. Call me over when you think that you're done, okay? So you're all clear on that? Go for it. Stick your, I've got, if this were an example, I'd come in here like this. So close it, go to the next one. Close it, go to the next one. Okay? Add color. Okay, so you feel you've got the saturation?
Yeah, and look through the folds too.
Yay! Great. You've got lots of different colors on here. These are going to be fun fact.
I only used 3 colors. Got many different ones.
Add more color to this.
Do you think it should be darker? I want it to be like burst, you know, on the ends.
Well, that, I'm not sure how you folded it, so I can't direct you, but you have a lot of white in there. In this part, because you've got that tight, I mean, feel it, it feels light. It's dry. So you want to add more color to that. So, yeah.
That's just like just getting this thing in there and just soaking it, huh?
Yeah.
You guys are from San Francisco? I think
Oh. So, this is good. Now, you're using one color yellow. Try also using another color yellow. Okay, so mix the 2 of them in there. See how the yellows are different?
Yes.
Okay, that's the next lesson. You've got a lot of blending happening here. You've got that with probably blue and pink.
Yes.
Okay, and that's a purple. And if you were to pour out this violet, that's the color that you'd have. Do you see? So, so some colors are mixed for you, and others you're mixing there on the fabric.
So cool.
Okay. How are we doing? That's very tight. Is that the circle still?
Yes, yeah, too
Okay,
tight.
yeah, we want to come down with that a lot. So let's get some string.
Saturate this.
We're going to use one of these.
Okay.
There should be a top around. And let's. Why am I having problems with this? I'll be right there. You need to find a top.
Okay.
There should be some around somewhere.
Right here.
Do you remember how long we put this in the microwave for?
5 to 7 seconds.
7 minutes.
7 minutes. Okay.
One top is open.
So,
Just right that there's my microwave.
don't want to touch.
Somebody said they were done.
Okay. How the hell does this open? 7 minutes. One top open. Open. Neck off. Oh. Hopes you can see the display.
Good luck.
Thanks, Blackout, New York City.
Oh. Fry the circuits.
Exactly.
Fry the circuits. Okay.
Yep. And then there's a mopsy down in the hall, right?
No, there's no fuck ups, there's just learning experience.
Makes little stars.
It's cool.
Spots, but the last group.
But I think that Larry sort of waits it.
You can hang dry it. Oh, okay, so everybody, you're going to have wet flags when this is done. Use your plastic bag or put them in a plastic bag. There's some of them around someplace. Put it in a plastic bag and put your name on it. Put it in your backpack. We're not going to have time. If you haven't had a chance to tie dye, I mean to microwave them, put them in the bag, write your name on it, and say I'm going to get a brewer game, and we will microwave them for you and come find you. Okay, so when you microwave them, you are done. The thing that you need to do then is rinse them. You want to rinse them for the dyes that haven't taken and to get the smell out. I suggest you use the sink over here, and you have to rinse them by the time you go home. When you get them home, rinse them in cold water. Bring them out just with your hands. Don't twist them. Just bring them out with your hands. I would put them either under a dryer bin, hang them up on a shower rack, or iron them. You will have some dyes still in there dripping, so if you put them in the shower with the towel underneath this color, the color that goes in the towel will wash out as long as it's not wet. All right. At this point, I want to give recognition to John Baker, who's webmaker. And the last thing I want to bring out that I said this is the last thing going. You guys? I've taught a few people how to tie that. And the thing that joys me to no end is when you in turn teach me how to tie that. I invite you to keep tie dyeing, and you send your babies out, and I will see them, and I will ask questions, and I will learn from them. Larry Regal has influenced my flag making style so much, as has Don Baker, and not so much Philip. I haven't seen many of his flags yet, but a few of my other babies that aren't here or recognized in this place have taught me many things. So keep on tie dyeing and send them out, and let me keep me abreast of what you're doing, and good luck. There's pens around, there's markers around.
Just a quick announcement for everybody. We've got about 10-15 more minutes left in here. If you have anything downstairs in the main room, get it before, get it now, and bring it back up here. From here, we'll be moving up to 410, where we'll be staying in 410 until we break.
Depending on what you're comfortable with, if you switch the hands, now you have the hands on the outside and the other points on the inside. But I mean, I do it the other way. So the idea is you can do it both ways, and it's whatever you guys want. So with one hand, what you're going to do is you're going to trace the same figure 8 you would trace with a flag. So without missing the very slowly, just trace the figure 8 very slow.
Nice figure. And I always joke, this is not a straight hand.
Come up and touch somebody else.
It's been 15 minutes since my last flag.
Oh, I think Barbara was the best with the
Yes.
evangelist.
Or the other. Said other.
So who's going to speak first?
I will.
I'm done. I tried. No, not to give that up. Just to kick off in a simple way, this ending ritual is for all of us. All of us come together and use this time together to kind of close on what's happened today. And in talking to David and talking to Christian about this beforehand, what we had hoped for this moment, for this time, was for each of us just to share a little bit, share the flags that they tie-dyed, the creations that they made, share something that they learned today, anything, the likes, the dislikes, that's it.
Same time next year, everybody?
Yeah.
My name is William, if you guys haven't met me yet. I learned a lot today. Originally I'm from Hawaii, where we did the poi dances, and this was just another extension of that for me. That's very cultural for me, so this is kind of like a different cultural experience for me. And I had a great time, especially in the workshops where we were doing mirroring and things. I learned a lot about myself and about other people's flagging techniques that I can incorporate into my own style. I had a great time, and I hope to see everybody else flagging tonight.
Aloha.
Everybody's speechless. Do we have to be in order?
No.
First of all, I want to thank all the organizers. This is amazing. And we are going to have to be a little bit more evangelical for next year, because there's a lot of people we know that should be here and aren't, but that's okay. The other thing I wanted to say, I won't be able to say it during the performance that I'm going to do tonight, but I mix CDs, and music is very dear to me. I get very emotional. And I layered parts of 3 songs in the song that I'm going to perform, and it's very spiritual along the lines of what we were talking about.
Whenever I go to teach people, there's one thing that I always say to them, that by law I have to tell them, this is addictive. This is addictive. And it is. Like you said, we're fanaholics, or flagaholics.
And by the way, Cleveland gives a great party called the Erie Party, and John is one of the most wonderful ambassadors for that.
My house was dubbed Casa Britain, and I have a plaque that's a 4-fan establishment.
My name is Chris. I never flagged or fanned before today. I read about this a month ago, I think, in the center thing, and it sounded like a fun thing to do. I thought there'd be a lot more non-fanners or flaggers. There's a few here, so that's good too. I had a blast today. I made a flag. I got to loosen up in George's workshop. It's like really truly non-judgmental here. It's really a wonderful community in this room. No straight fun me. It was fun. I had a really plain out and out blast all day, and I haven't had this much fun in a long time, and I really enjoyed myself.
You did very well, too.
I'm just glad to see everybody again. I feel like my life's gotten very busy. Work has gotten really busy. George and I were talking about this before. It's interesting how sometimes flagging brings out something in yourself, and you're radiating something, and then that starts to affect the other parts of your life, and then you end up actually getting so busy because work is taking off and other things are taking up your time, and then it pulls you away from the community. And today it just really struck me how many people that came that I've got some relationship with, that we can think of some amazing times that we've connected, and whether various parties or Fire Island or events here or performances, or I mean, it's just really has been for me a sense of community and reconnecting with the community again, and I'm really appreciative for that. It's really wonderful today. Thanks for all your energy. Awesome.
I have to say something unrelated to flagging. Remember roller stuff and inline stuff back when the Roxy opened? And I rented. I went over there. It was boys' night out. I'm not a skater, so I was kind of pushing along the side, and I was getting kind of comfortable. And somebody came along and goosed me, and I went flying. But I got back up, and I did it. Third time, I couldn't catch him to knock the shit out of him. It was one of those moments of pure nastiness, because I wasn't good at this, and this guy was great at just sending people flying that were unskilled. And I'd probably hit him again if I fell. But I never went back to the Roxy. And I still want to dance. And I'm willing to do things like that. And it's fun. And I don't see any of that in this community. And that's another reason why I like this behavior and this kind of sensibility. Thank you.
I too wanted to just acknowledge and share my gratitude for George and David and Xavier and all those who gave so much of their time and for their generosity of many of your personal resources to make it possible. And forgive me if I left anybody out. This is 3 a.m.
It was a wonderful beginning, and I do hope it is just the beginning. Firsthand, and that's easy for me to say because I live in Cleveland. I don't have to do any planning.
Oh, the next one's in Cleveland.
I've had 12 at my house before.
At a time.
Stop.
No, I'm sure. No, I'm worth to jump in. Scott Ford, my partner Tom Ford, and I are offering to this evening if anyone after the center dance wants to stop by our apartment instead of going to the Roxy. Although a large group going to the Roxy would be really fun. I'm not up for going to the Roxy tonight, so we just have a regular 1-bedroom Manhattan apartment, so it's not like we can accommodate 5,000 people. But anyone who wants to stop by is welcome to. It's spacious enough that if you want to go to the Roxy and then come over, I'm sure we'll probably be up for a while. But if after the dance tonight, if you're into just kicking back a bit, we're at 148 West 16th. So if you go up 7th to 16th, we're the first townhouse that you come by. We're right on 16th, and it's apartment 2. But you'll see us downstairs. So if anybody wants to walk back with us and come over for
Thank you.
Thank you. That's very kind.
We do have a wonderful dog. Still, yeah, we're in your good stuff. So.
Their dog loves absolutely everybody, except me. Every time I go there, it bites me.
One of the many lessons that I learned and tried to learn, and Barbara taught me, or reminded me of another one today, is to remove the velvet rope. And so we always had a policy inclusive as possible. Now, if you're sitting on each other's laps, John will just give us directions,
I'll be signed for change.
I love New York. We've been here almost a year and a half or so. It's much smaller than Ohio.
Small town
It's a great little island. I love it. Both of them.
And some videos playing from different circuit parties, and intermittently there would be flagging. And I was actually flagging. I was watching flaggers while I'm flagging, and oh, there's Patrick. Oh, there's Philip, and oh, there's this person, and I'm picking out people at different circuit parties that I knew from around the nation. And then I commented to the light guy, Ian. I said, you know, I know half these people. I said, you guys are a little cult, aren't you?
No, we're a big cult.
It's like, oh yeah. So, you know, where's the leftover bug juice from the tie-dye room?
It's maybe downstairs.
Nothing more to it.
Oh, did they get taken?
Nothing more to it.
The secret handshake and all that stuff.
I just want to add to what Joe said. One of my fan babies in Washington knows that I do these things, and he says, sounds like a cult gathering to me. Exact word, cult.
I think that in just hearing everybody today and hearing some of their experiences, not only in this room but outside of here, so much has come out. And I'm wondering where we want to take this. How do we want to take what we've experienced today out into the world?
I thought it was amazing to see the flaggers. What was the words? No, it wasn't Miss USA. To see the two flaggers for the swimsuit competition. And that excited me beyond belief. I mean, I would love to see it more in the forefront. I mean, I think it says something about us. And we were talking today about putting ourselves out there, making ourselves visible, and how we're much more accepted nowadays. And what better way but with the beauty. And I'd love to see that a little bit more. I want to say mainstream, but that's not quite what I mean, because we don't want to make it into something that it's not. But just to see it out there, see it on TV, see it in something special.
Central Park, the place to start.
And there's another level to taking it with us, which doesn't necessarily include fabric, but the communion that we have here today, whatever a group of people does a ritual, you take that energy with you, you take that healing with you. It's like you're coming out fresh and clean, and you're bringing that out into the world, and you're radiating something that other people might not even know that they're seeing, but they're definitely getting it. So it is cool to see it on TV, and I probably beg to differ just a little bit about mainstreaming because it's an accessibility thing, and the more accessible it is. Mainstreaming isn't necessarily a bad thing. Nick Flags is a bad thing. But, And speaking of which, I just have to say, I grew up in Greenwich Village in the 60s, but this is the first time I have ever tie-dyed anything in my life. So I want to take it home and put it on my refrigerator with a magnet.
It's hard in an apartment center refrigerator.
Instead, I'm going to send it to Larry Regal's Triangle Flag Factory and have him throw weights in for me, probably.
Hey, beautiful. Gorgeous.
Thank you.
And no matter how long you've done it, believe me, I've done it a long time, almost 3 decades, it's a learning process. And you learn from each other if you pay attention. And half my fun is not only doing it, half of it is just watching someone else do it and then to continue on for another half, which would make it 1.5, is the filming and showing people what they look like from the outside. It's a lot of fun. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing to do, inside and out. It's always done by beautiful people who are beautiful inside, like them.
Thank you for showing us.
That's why we're all here.
And also, what, oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I know David, I know Michael, we all know each other from Access Dance, and we're kind of crazy, but we like to flag everywhere. Is that the situation with everybody else? Because I mean, I flag everywhere, and in front of people who've never seen it before, and you know, I bring my friends along, and it incorporates so well into my friends' artistic. Nestor's a drum player and photographer, and any musician, any artist, it so well meshes with what we do. I think that's part of what it is, getting it out, is like, here, this is, you know, you could play with each other.
One thing I mentioned to George was I tend to manically brainstorm wild and crazy ideas, but Access Dance was a part of Gay Pride last year through the Wedding Party, which is working towards the marriage civil rights, and we're on it again this year to have an even bigger float down Fifth Avenue, always including Access Dance, because there were 15 of them behind us. God bless you all, because we kept playing the loop over again. I only had to sing once, but they had to do walk the full length of parade, which is amazing. But the crazy idea I had, and I'm just going to throw it out there. If it materializes, great. If not, I mentioned to him, I'm like, I'd love to take the movement of marriage equality across the United States with the Wedding Party. We're creating a compilation CD. I've got artists from different parts of the United States submitting their songs. I'm like, what would it look like if we took a bus like Priscilla, you know, had to go across the United States, and wherever you're from, you guys welcome us. You welcome us with flags and fans. You know, however that looks like, but just to have some sort of a bogart of flags and fans in each of your cities, wherever you're from. So that's just kind of my crazy idea. There it is.
I think Xavier deserves another huge year, because a lot of us didn't ever think we were going to do a tie-dye workshop, and it was easy, and you did all the work. Well, you and your assistants, but it was big work that we could see that you had to get for us to make it easy, so thank you.
I agree.
I must say, I felt like I regressed to like fifth grade in that. Thanks for being patient with me.
If all my teachers in fifth grade looked like Xavier, I wouldn't have been able to concentrate on anything.
You wouldn't have skipped school.
Maybe to touch on what she was saying about, you know, do we flag everywhere we go? We do. We try to, we flag with a drag queen. So, I mean, it was really well accepted, and we go and do it wherever we can. I mean, I think that's part of our message, you know. A lot of people come up and say, can I try it? And you give it to them for a while, they're like, oh, this is hard. And they just like give it back to you, but that's still reaching out to somebody, and they still.
A lot of people fling it, and I think kind of mock you in a way too. I've seen that, but I just accept it for what it is, and you know, I get my flags back, and you know, usually they say thank you. And you can tell it's sort of a little mockery, but it's just, I think, like I said earlier today, it's one of those things. You know, people need to learn, and you're not going to teach them by being a jerk about it. You just got to sort of accept the fact that they need to learn something, and hopefully you can either educate them or they'll be enlightened at some point.
One thing that I occasionally when I'm out in public, like Central Park or on the pier or somewhere else, children love watching flaggers, and it's such a cross-cultural medium because the parents then will be watching, you know, from a reasonable distance. They could still jump in if you dare touch their kid in an inappropriate way, but they don't. And they watch, and the kids light up. You give the kids a flag. They do whatever they're going to do, but they're in ecstasy. 2 hours later, you get the flags back. The parents are, you know, it's like, good, I didn't have to deal with that kid for 2 hours. And they look at you, they nod, they say thank you, and the world's a better place. It's just, it's wonderful, and it's so moving, you know, when I see that kid, and I know they're watching me, but I just wait for that minute, you know, and then I just, here. So it's, you know, it's again, crossing those gaps.
Aside from other flags that should have been here, I feel maybe next year they should have, aside from Randy and Warren, they should invite also other disc jockeys, be more flagger friendly. A lot of them are, but there's a few of them, one in particular that's not. Very good. What? No. That guy that doesn't play for shit. His name Junior? I'm not a big fan of his. No. He's totally anti-flaggy. But anyway, I mean, that was really great that you guys had those disc jockeys, and they taught, you know, they saw what we see and how it felt to have rags in your hands, you know, and what the music does, and you know how we connect with the music. So they're more understanding of what to play to make us light up, to make the dance floor light up.
One of the things that I noticed about today was a lot of work for me, but very rewarding. Very rewarding, and I'll tell you where my reward came. Number one was at the very end, when everyone was in room 301, and we had to tear down that room just like that, and turn it just like that for the next group in, and everyone came in and picked up fans. Everyone had a fan in their hand. Now, most of you know that I have not been fanning that long. You know, I was a recent convert. To me, that was just amazing to see everyone trying to fan, trying something different, because a lot of people have never tried fans. And if you had told me a year ago that there would be this many people sitting in this room right now, after we had done the workshops, after everything was done, I probably would have told you were crazy. That there's no way that many people would show up just to say, good job, whatever, share, like we are right now. And to me, that says a whole lot. My commitment to this community is to provide that website. That website's not mine. The only thing I do is just post pictures on it and try and pass on information. If you want to send me pictures, I'll be more than happy to post them. Right now, I'm only able to post New York pictures because it's New York City flaggers. You know, it's about this community. I don't have the resources to do a whole USA or international. But I'll post any picture you send of New York people on it, or events in New York, and information. I'm constantly looking for more information. That website belongs to everyone else. I'm just trying to pass on information. And what we did today doesn't have to stop here. We can hold workshops. We can hold flag tie-dyeing workshops ourselves too. There's enough people in here who have done it now. You know, someone's going to have to teach me, but I can hold it in my place. Hey, I've got room. We can do workshops. We can go out. We flagged at the Roxy before on roller night, roller disco night. It was a lot of fun, actually. Some of us on skate, some not. So I mean, there's all kinds of things, and we're always doing outdoor stuff. It's just cold weather right now, that's why we don't. But we love going out to parks and streets and subways and everything else and getting some pictures. So it doesn't have to stop here.
Thank you, David. Again.
City someplace, and to see all of us collectively together doing what we're doing would be a moment that would change my life if I came upon it someplace. So if there's a way we can loosely, collectively stay in touch, get together at places like the Christo closing tomorrow or other things coming up. I remember one time this summer when we were doing the Pride thing in Bryant Park, a woman came up to us and she was like, she had a gallery on Roosevelt Island. She was like, oh, it would be so amazing if you stood on the tip of Roosevelt Island and you were all flagging. And I thought, yeah, that sure would be. But, you know, visually, the more, the merrier, like so many things in life. And, you know, I think what we've all done here today is extraordinary.
The magic of this group is pretty powerful, and I just wanted to mention, Ken, if you don't mind, you know, we put out that we were going to flag at Christo's exhibit, and Ken comes up to me shortly after the panel discussion and said, we've got Christo who's interested in meeting us there. Really? So,
or his producers, I don't know if he's
Christo's
like,
there every day, from what I was there every single day. So I think word had gotten out to them about it. So it'll be interesting since it's last day. I mean, I'm gonna see maybe. I mean, I hear that they're giving pieces of the actual material.
Yeah.
So you have to take like hodgepodge patches and make like patchwork out of it, which is still.
And also, as you go in,
big pieces to make matching saffron flags.
Notice as you go downstairs into the dance space, I put up a bulletin board with 6 photos I've taken, various things, including the Axis group this summer at the Pride event. And I put it up on saffron Christo paper, and it says, Christo's children with love, or something. I put up there, so take a look at it as you go downstairs.
We'll take a picture of that installation so you can give that to Christo.
There you go. There you go.
I also just wanted to take this time and acknowledge a lot of people speaking about the power of this group, the energy we have, the spirituality that we share. And 2 very important people came a long way in that, Xavier and Christian Caylor. And both of you have very interesting and important things to say. I'd like to offer them a few minutes to talk about, from your experience, how do you see this similar or dissimilar to your work in a larger community, and some words about what you think happened today from that perspective.
Well, Christian and I have both been involved, Christian much more than I lately, leading people into spirituality or experiencing the now in different ways. So it hasn't been through flagging mostly for me, but Christian has done that, I'm sure. At least not consciously in the workshops that I put on. And so in communication with, talking with the people that are close to me, that have been part of my family, much as I feel that you are a family here, my close brothers and I have talked up and down spirituality around flagging and being in the now, and how important being in the now is not something easy to do. I mean, we do it on a daily basis, some of us through exercise, through different things, cleaning. If you engage your body and you start moving and you just do something mindlessly, you oftentimes go into a nice meditation or trance, and that's what flagging basically is. You could be drumming, you could be dancing, there's lots of ways to achieve it, but most often we do not take the time out in our day to create that as just lay people, unless you're exercising on a daily basis, which some people do, and allowing yourself to be empty while you're doing it. I mean, exercising and looking at somebody next to you. I mean, exercising and letting the mind go and being in the body. And so the thing that I was, it wasn't necessarily hoping, I wasn't looking for it, but the thing that I see here is that you all have a dialogue of spirituality in your community. And on the East Coast, you know, the West Coast in San Francisco, it's hippie. There's lots of, you know, there's the Rumi Church is there. There's many. There was a cult in Oregon that disbanded, and many of the people moved to Northern Marin. I mean, it's very granola there. You can buy organic food anywhere, and so I mean that's like something that people talk about day to day in San Francisco. As a matter of fact, if you don't, you're living in a pigeonhole. And so to come here and hear the dialogue that I hear you guys talking about, it's beautiful, and it's reaffirming. I knew that there was no other way for it to be, but I just hadn't heard it for myself. And it's not like we sit online and say, wow, you know, we're spiritual over here too. What about there? You know, this is the dialogue that happens with, you know, within a couple of people intimately, because you share from the heart. And I think the biggest thing that we can do as flaggers, as a community, is to continue to share from our heart, to open up into the space and speak from our space of truth and love around this. And in doing so, we will affect another generation. And that's what I have done, and that's what many of you here have done, and that's why flagging has become as much as it is. So, yeah.
Yeah, just to piggyback a little bit on